What about match number 2 of the Asia Cup? The caravan moves to the Pallekele International Stadium, where you will see the Nagin rivals, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka in action. Joy, unfortunately, the ones who are not in action are the bigger story for both teams.
Absolutely. I mean, the injury list of both those teams, the injury slash players being dropped, players retiring, unretiring, and then being injured. I mean, it's a complete story out there. And from Hasaranga from one side, Liton Das. I mean, the entire the entire Sri Lankan bowling attack has been totally decimated. Madhushanka is not there. I think Chamira is not there.
No Lahiru Kumara is not there.
So they're really, I mean, they're missing at least 3 or 4 of their first 5 bowlers, and that's a huge blow for them.
Let's talk about Bangladesh first. Shakib Al Hasan is going to lead the side. Tamim, as he said, retired, unretired.
Now injured.
Now injured, yes.
Yeah.
And apparently the Prime Minister had to intervene as well. I don't know how far true that story is, but...
I don't know if she intervened. I think she just said, you're not retiring.
That's it.
That's it. You're not retiring. So the couple of names you want to look out for in this is Taskin Ahmed and Mustafizur Rahman, because both have been around for a long time. Taskin has had injury problems, but he's genuinely quick. Fiz is going through a sort of mid-career crisis. You don't quite know whether he's back at his best. But in the batting, it's amazing how many new players they've got. I'm looking at Mohammad Naeem. I think if I've got it right, there was a game in Delhi. Bangladesh played against India, and he played beautifully. I'm trying to be certain it was Mohammad Naeem. He looked very good, but he hasn't done a lot after that. But so many young players. So many young players. You've got the batch of 2005 and you've got the batch of 2020 all in one.
Yeah, it's a, and these are considered the 2 greatest.
2007,
batches.
sorry, not 2007.
7, yeah.
The Shakib and
the Shakib,
Tamim and Mushfiq.
Tamim Mushfiqur batch. And now you have these boys coming up, and there's some really exciting players. Tanzid is supposed to be really good, and the only thing is they'll miss Ibadat. They will miss Liton definitely.
Huge miss. Liton's become a bit of a habit for Bangladesh, isn't it?
I think he's the best white ball batter.
Yeah.
I think Liton Das is the best white ball batter. So, see, I've got used to saying batter.
There are journalists that love him there. They call Liton's media there. Let's talk about Sri Lanka.
Oh God,
let's pull up the squad. Varendu Hasaranga, a huge miss. I don't think he's going to be in action. But again, the same story, Harsha. A lot of the names that we're not used to seeing. But do they have enough gas in the tank? Do they have enough names that can win them a one-day international?
Patirana we've seen in the IPL, but when he's gone and played for Sri Lanka over a longer phase, he's not produced the same results. Pramod Madhushan has got a bit of pace about him. There's a couple of names to watch out for. A lot of promise in Dunit Wellalage. So that's one player to watch out for. But my 2 favourites in the batting order are there, Pathum Nisanka and Charit Asalanka. In the 50-over game, Dimut Karunaratne is playing so well for them. He's a proper batter, and I think he's found himself in 50 overs cricket now. Look how many keepers there are. Yeah. Can Kusal Pereira become... I mean, when you saw Kusal Pereira bat first, you thought, wow, this kid... I always thought an IPL franchise must pick him up. IPL franchises don't normally go in for overseas keepers. You know, you got a Quinton de Kock, and there's not that many. But I actually thought Kusal Pereira would be that good. And then suddenly, I think he's put on a little bit of weight. He's in a lot of injury troubles. So let's see how he comes good. Kusal Pereira, Kusal Mendes, Pathum Nisanka, Charit Asalanka. That's a good batting lineup.
Great memory. Battles of names.
You just hide them on the screen.
Yeah. No, also, I mean, look, really, Asalanka is a class bat, And if they can get it, Shanaka has been a great leader of this side. If they can get it together, see, there's a very combative side. The whole issue is which Sri Lanka turns up. Because this, let's face it, is a group of death. Okay? All these 3, and all of them have rivalries going against each other, because all of them are sort of jostling in, sort of everyone thinks, Asia, India and Pakistan are there on top. And then these 3 are bubbling under, and everyone's pushing the other. So it's going to be a really tight group. And at this point in time, if you look at it, both of them are looking at each other and saying, both of us are depleted sides. Afghanistan is the one who is relatively injury-free. And it'll be really, this first match is the most important match of this group.
Yes, it's going to be fun. But before we say goodbye, quickly players to watch out for. He's mentioned his.
I mentioned 5, but there's one who changes the balance of that side, which is Dhananjaya De Silva, who when he gets going, he's an attacking player, but he's the one who gives you some bowling. Asalanka can bowl a bit, but really the person who's adding to the balance of that side is Dhananjaya De Silva, who can give you 5-6 overs.
Joy, for you, players to watch out for?
Lots of them. In this side, I'm a huge fan of Sri Lanka. I really like Sri Lanka, and I've something in Kasum Rajitha tells me that he's one of the bowlers who makes a difference out here. Among the Bangladeshis, again, Tanzit Tamim, I'll go with him because up front, remember, Litton is going to return. That means both these openers, Naeem and he, will not play. One of them will play the World Cup, one will not. So for them, it's a straight elimination. So both of them are going to be playing to retain their places for that World Cup. So it's going to be an important one, and it'll be interesting. It'll really be a tight match.
I've looked at some scorecards recently. I've not seen the play, but I like looking at scorecards when I'm not watching a game. It's a player called Tawheed Rudai. And I find when I look at the scorecards, he's scoring runs. So he's one of the players I'm going to be looking to see. But whenever Bangladesh take the field, a lot depends on those two guys. Mushfiqur Rahim, I think he's sort of walking into the sunset at the moment, from what I suspect. I think he's walking into the sunset. Him and Shakib. And the advantage for Shakib is that he bats at 3 or 4, where he goes up the order there. And I'm always confused between because they keep changing the spellings as well. Which is the Mehdi? There's a Mahedi and there's a Mehidi.
Mehidi.
The off spinner who comes and bats at number 7, who's becoming a better and better batter with every season. So we talked about Dhananjay De Silva. I think Mahidi Hassan is that player for him. And can you imagine him and Shakib, two people who can bat at different ends of the middle order and be full-time bowlers?